My wedding was in 2 hours, and I was standing in my hotel room, my heart shattered. On the bed lay my dress, a vintage 1950s Dior gown my grandmother had saved for me. It was priceless. Now it was destroyed, slashed to ribbons, stained with red wine, the pearl embroidery ripped off. I looked at the mirror. Written in red lipstick were the words, "Now you look like what you deserve. Trash." I knew that handwriting. I knew that shade of lipstick. My future mother-in-law, Lydia, and sister-in-law, Chloe. They had hated me since day one. I fell to my knees clutching the ruined lace. My wedding was ruined. My dream was destroyed. They had won. Or so they thought. Lydia Sterling, my fiancé David's mother, was old money. She believed I wasn't good enough for her golden boy. I was from a simple family, a teacher who didn't wear designer labels. "You're an embarrassment to our name, Emily," she whispered at our engagement party. "You will never be one of us." Her daughter Chloe was worse, spoiled and jealous. She couldn't handle me getting married first, especially in such a unique dress. "Where did you get that rag? A thrift store?" she sneered when I first showed them Grandma's dress. "It smells like mothballs and poverty." For 6 months, they made my life hell. They forgot to invite my parents to family dinners. They criticized my flowers, my menu, my music. David tried to defend me, but he was too soft with his mother. Destroying the dress was their final blow. They didn't just want to ruin my mood. They wanted me to walk down the aisle broken, humiliated, in some cheap last-minute dress. 30 minutes before I found the dress, Lydia and Chloe came to my room. They were dressed to kill, beaming with fake smiles. "Well, darling, ready to become Mrs. Sterling?" Lydia chirped, checking her hair in the mirror. Chloe walked around, touching my things. "I hope you don't embarrass David today. All our friends will be here. We wouldn't want them to think he's marrying—" "The help," Lydia giggled. "Chloe, don't be rude. Emily tries. She just has no taste. It's genetic." They left, leaving behind a cloud of expensive perfume and a sick feeling in my stomach. I went into the shower to wash off their poison. When I came out, they were gone. But their gift was on the bed, my grandmother's ruined legacy. I stood there, tears streaming down my face, ruining the makeup that had taken 2 hours to apply. I could hear the music starting in the banquet hall downstairs. Guests were arriving. David was waiting at the altar. And I had no dress. I had nothing. I wiped my tears. I looked at my reflection in the mirror, right at the lipstick writing. "Trash," I whispered. And then I started to smile. Slowly, coldly. I walked to the closet in the corner of the room, the one that was locked with a keypad combination. Lydia and Chloe were predictable. I knew they would try something. I knew they couldn't resist seeing the dress hanging out in the open in its garment bag. I punched the code into the safe. The door clicked open. Inside, in a special climate-controlled box, lay the dress. The real vintage Dior gown. Perfect. Pristine. Untouched. The one on the bed, slashed to pieces, was a replica. A high-quality copy I had commissioned from a seamstress a month ago for $500. It was bait, and they had swallowed it whole. But that wasn't all. I took out my phone and opened an app. On the screen was a live feed from a miniature hidden camera I had concealed in the flower bouquet on the vanity table. I pressed play recording from last hour. There they were, Lydia and Chloe, entering the room. Lydia: "Hurry up while she's in the shower. Where are those scissors?" Chloe: "God, this thing is ugly. I'm doing her a favor." Chloe writing on the mirror. Lydia pouring the wine on the hem. Lydia: "There. Let her get married in a bedsheet. David will see what a ragamuffin she is and change his mind." The banquet hall doors swung open. Every guest turned their head. I stood there, in the real Dior dress. It fit perfectly. I didn't look like a victim. I looked like a queen. I saw Lydia's face in the front row. Her jaw literally dropped. She turned as pale as the tablecloth. Chloe dropped her phone. They looked at me like they were seeing a ghost. I walked to the altar with my head held high. David looked at me with adoration. "You look beautiful, Emily," he whispered. The ceremony went perfectly. But the real show started at the reception. I asked the DJ to pause the music. I took the microphone. "Thank you all for coming," I said, looking straight at Lydia and Chloe. "This day wouldn't be possible without family support, especially my new mother-in-law and sister-in-law." Lydia smiled nervously. "They tried so hard to help me prepare that they even decided to improve my dress before the ceremony. I want to show you a short film about their care." I nodded to the DJ. On the huge screen behind me, the recording from the hidden camera started playing. The whole hall froze. People gasped. On screen, Lydia and Chloe were hacking at the dress, laughing and calling me trash. Lydia jumped up. "That's a lie, that's edited. Turn it off." David's father, a respectable businessman, stood up. He was purple with rage. He looked at his wife like he was seeing her for the first time. "Lydia," his voice thundered. "Get out, both of you, now." Lydia and Chloe ran out of the hall under the whispers and judgmental stares of 200 guests. Their social reputation was destroyed in 5 minutes. David was in shock. He came up to me and took my hands. "Emily, I didn't know. Forgive me. Forgive me for not seeing what they were really like." The next day I filed a police report. Destruction of property, even a replica, and breaking and entering. The video was undeniable proof. To avoid court and a public scandal, Lydia agreed to pay me the full value of the original Dior dress, $50,000, as compensation for moral damages. David's father filed for divorce. Lydia was left alone in her big, empty house. Chloe was sent to a strict boarding school in another state. And David and I? We used that $50,000 to extend our honeymoon. We spent a month in Bali, far away from toxic relatives. Grandma's dress hangs in my closet, safe and sound. And that slashed replica? I kept it. As a reminder never to underestimate simple trash with a plan and a hidden camera.